what drives your success? That's a fantastic question. And the answer is very simple: my clients. In my role as an executive coach, I have a very unique billing system. I don't get paid if my clients don't get better. Better is not judged by me or them, it's judged by everyone around them. The client I spent the most amount of time with didn't improve at all. The client I spent the least amount of time with improved more than anyone I've ever coached. And I spent the least amount of time, and he was great to start with. His name is Alan Mullally, who was the CEO of Ford Motor Company. The stock went from $1 to $18.40, and he got a 97% approval rating from every employee in a union company. An amazing leader, CEO of the year in the United States. I said, Alan, of all the people I've coached, I spent the least amount of time with you, and you improved the most. And you were great to start with. What should I learn about coaching from you? Well, he taught me a lesson that changed my life. He said, Marshall, your biggest challenge as a coach is called customer selection. If you pick the right customer, your coaching process will always work. If you pick the wrong customer, your coaching process will never work. Don't make coaching about how smart you think you are. Make it about the great people you work with, how hard they work, and how proud you are of them. What a lesson. That lesson changed my life. No one has seen me coach anybody. They don't know I'm a good coach. Why do I always get ranked #1 coach? I may or may not be a great coach. I can tell you one thing. I have the #1 clients in the world. I work with only very dedicated, very smart, very successful people. They're nice enough to say good things about me. What's the secret of my success? One word, 2 words: great customers. Well, one thing I teach is every leader I work with gets confidential feedback. They get feedback from all those people around them about what are they doing well? What do they need to do better? That is confidential. They don't know who said what. Then after they ask for this input, you know what they're taught to do? Listen. Think about it. And I teach them to respond. And when they respond, they express gratitude. Gratitude for the whole process. Gratitude for the good feedback they've received. And then whatever mistakes they've made, they apologize. We all make mistakes. It's okay. And then say, feed forward. Give me ideas. How can I get better in the future? They just repeat this process over and over and over again. And by practicing this, what I call feed forward, always asking for ideas, listening, not promising to do everything, doing what you can and thanking people, the leaders invariably become more effective, not as judged by themselves, as judged by everyone around them. Well, I did a big research study called The Global Leader of the Future, and I found leaders need to focus on 5 unique qualities that were different today than they were in the past. Number 1 is called global thinking. More and more in the new world, leaders are going to need to think globally. In the old days, leadership was always very local. Then it became more domestic. Well, today it's global. Everyone needs to think big and think globally. Number 2, which is related to number 1, is cross-cultural diversity. That concept of diversity is more important than ever, although not just U.S. diversity, such as women or minorities in the U.S., global diversity across cultures. Then the next thing would be technological savvy. The leader of the future doesn't have to be a technologist. They need to understand, though, how core technology is going to impact their business. And they can't hide from technology in any industry anymore. And then number 4, building alliances and partnerships. In the past, leadership was more top-down. In the future, leadership is more across. Building alliances and partnerships with people who maybe used to be customers or even competitors to better serve customers. And then finally, I call it the leader as facilitator. Peter Drucker said the leader of the past knew how to tell, the leader of the future knows how to ask. They're going to have to learn to manage people called knowledge workers who know more about them. If I know more than you, I can tell you what to do and how to do it. If you know more than me, I have to ask, I have to listen, I have to learn. I have to be a facilitator much more than I need to be a boss. So that's some ways the leader of the future is going to be different than the leader of the past. This is a critical point today. In the United States, there was just a huge statement from CEOs in the Business Roundtable saying that we're going to move away from just shareholder or share owner capitalism to stakeholder capitalism. The concept of stakeholder, I was a little ahead of the game on this one, is a hugely important concept today. When we manage people, we need to have representatives of their key stakeholders in our groups. Who in your team is representing the customers? Who is representing the people, perhaps diversity in those people? Who might be representing the community? Who would represent the shareholders? So you need to have representatives of these key stakeholders in the meeting, and especially if you're a high-level leader like a CEO, you need to get input from these key stakeholders. So you're constantly reaching out with customer surveys, with employee satisfaction surveys, information about the community. So you realize my job as a leader is no longer just making money. My job as a leader is to satisfy a variety of key stakeholders who are all critical for the success of our business in the long haul. Well, feed forward is an exercise I use in all of my classes, and I say, here's how it works. I always say, are there smart people in the room? Everyone says yes. Well, you're here to learn from these smart people. Are there nice people in the room? Yes, you're here to help these people. Then in feed forward, you learn to pick one area for improvement, such as, I did this in St. Petersburg, by the way, 50,000 people in a stadium. They loved it. Highest rated of all speakers, only 20% spoke English. For example, one person would say, my name is Natasha. I want to be a better leader. Give me ideas. Whatever the ideas are, thank you. My name is Boris. I want to be a better listener. Give me ideas. Ideas, thank you. Then they shake hands and talk to another person over and over. In feed forward, you learn to ask for input, listen to it, think about it without judging, thank the person for the input. Don't promise to do everything they say, and just promise to listen and do what you can. In my coaching, every leader practices feed forward over and over and over again. One of my great clients, Hubert Joly, CEO of Best Buy, led one of the great turnarounds in the United States in the last 5 or 6 years. Hubert has every employee in the company practicing feed forward. They all have something to improve. You can talk to them. My name is, I want to get better at, please give me ideas. Thank you. And by the way, the key leader in this process, Hubert himself, the CEO, does this over and over and over. So finally, my privilege to talk to you. I hope I've given you some very, very practical ideas that you can take back and use. And in my work as a speaker, as a coach, as a teacher, this is what I do, helping successful leaders achieve positive long-term change in their behavior.